Okay, guys, the video has started. Okay, so not yesterday. Yesterday we had a snow day, and maybe tomorrow we will too.
Yeah, no.
You know, who knows?
Said that it would
So on, guys,
Guys, quiet.
guys, my video. So on Monday, we had a lecture where we talked about solving absolute value equations, right? And they were so simple, right? Wouldn't you agree with me? They were really simple. So we're gonna just do one. So we have like something like 2x plus 5, is equal to 13. So the first thing you do is you notice, oh look, the absolute value is all by itself. It's all by itself. It's isolated. What do I mean by that when I say this is isolated?
It's closed in about 2 lines.
It's closed in, has the 2 lines, and there's nothing else on that side of the equal sign. There's just 2 absolute value signs, and anything on that side is between those 2 absolute value signs. There's nothing else on the outside of the absolute value on this side, or on the outside on this side before the equal sign, right? This absolute value is totally isolated, right? That's good. So when that's the case, then we can say, oh, well, really, in order for that to be 13, I could have the absolute value of positive 13, right? I could have the absolute value of positive 13, and then that would equal 13. Or I could have the absolute value of negative 13, and that would equal 13, right? So this could either equal 13 or this could equal negative 13. So I rewrite it as 2 problems. 2x plus 5 without the absolute value signs is equal to 13, right? Or, and I write the word or, and I say 2x plus 5 is equal to minus 13. And then I solve. I subtract 5 from both sides, and I have 2x is equal to, I don't know, what is that, 8? So divide by 2, x is equal to 4. Here I subtract 5 from both sides. Subtract 5 from both sides, and I have 2x is equal to minus 18. And so then I divide by 2, I'll just do it. Divide by 2, I get x is equal to negative 9. So my answer is this. Okay? Right? So that's your answer. Now don't do this in your head. Always work these out. Always write down both equations. Noah.
On the homework, I didn't know how to do that, so I just did it all in my head.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
But do you see? Yeah, it is a disaster. It really is. I have had so many people who are really fabulous mathematicians, and they try to do it in their head, and they're often right, but I guarantee you they're sometimes wrong. Always. Right? It's so easy to mess something up by doing it in your head. So definitely do it. Show me your work. 2x plus 5 is equal to positive 13. 2x plus 5 equals negative 13. So that's what we already learned. That's what we learned last time. Now, I'm going to change things a little bit. Can I erase this?
No.
Don't erase it.
Sorry, I'll let you finish writing
They're
it out.
so fast and easy, those ones. 2x plus 5 is equal to 13 or negative 13.
Yeah, they're fun. I like doing these because they're fun. They're easy.
I like doing really
They're sort of like brainless. You don't have to use your brain too much, but a little bit, and you can get through it really kind of quickly. All right.
I like doing really
Can I erase now?
No.
So what we're going to talk about, I'm going to just erase a couple things.
Go ahead.
Can I erase now?
Yes.
All right. Now what if I changed this? Let me just write a new problem.
Okay.
2x plus 4, and we'll make this 14, and I'm going to put a 7 here. Okay, so suddenly we got a new problem now. We've got 7. It's right next to 7 is right next to the absolute value signs, right? So that's a little confusing. We've not seen that before, I don't think. And then equals 14. Now, when in algebra, when you have a number next to something else, what does it always mean? Multiply. If it doesn't have a plus, minus, times, divide, you always just assume it's multiply. Yes.
So we're distributing property.
What?
Do you do distribution?
So that is one way. There are two ways to do this. Yes, Noah.
Could you solve it first without the 7, and then once you get the absolute value, like do 7 times the answer?
That's interesting. I don't know. That's a really good thought. I have no idea. That's a very interesting thought. I've never tried that. Well, let's try that in a second. But first, so yes, you could. There's two different ways you could solve this. All right, so you guys, are you focusing on math? Can you put that away, please? In your binder, maybe? Sorry. So there are two different, this is real important because I tell you, I have to reteach this part so many times because people, I guess, don't pay attention. I just want you to pay attention. I could do distributed property. It's not what I would do first. I could, though. One way would be to do this. All right, I'll do it this way first just to show you. So that would give me 7 times 2x is 14x plus 28, right? The absolute value of 14x plus 28 is 14. Now, would you agree with me that the absolute value is isolated? Right? Up here, was it isolated? No. There's something outside, right? Problem. You got to deal with that something outside first. So in this case, this way we did it. We just did distributed property, right? And equals 14. And then, so now we can write, since this is isolated, we can write out our two things. We can do 14x plus 28 is equal to positive 14, or 14x plus 28 is equal to minus 14. And that'll totally work, and you can solve it that way. So minus 28, so we've got 14x, where am I, equals negative 14, divide by 14, x is equal to negative 1, right? Does that make sense? Writing these down? So I'm going to just get down here like this. So then I'm going to subtract 28 here, subtract 28 here, right? And then I've got 14x equals negative 42. Okay, divide by 14, x is equal to negative. I think I'm going to just simplify first. So I know 2 goes into both. So 2 goes into this 7 times, 2 goes into this 21 times, right? So we got negative, 3. Right. So we got negative 3. Here we go. So, thank you, Thorn. You saw that before I did. Now, it worked, but correct me if I'm wrong, this was a little hard. This was hard for me. I didn't know that 14 went into 42. Thorn knew it, but I didn't know it, right? I'm not always going to have Thorn around when I'm doing my math, right?
14 would be.
So there is another way, and usually, if it's possible, there's another thing that I would suggest you try first. So can I erase?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So here I'm going to erase this, and then I'm going to show you the other way. Notice, this is 7 times this equals this. 7 times this equals this. So I could, these are factors. Remember what factors are? Factors of 6 are 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6, right? Factors of 12, 3 times 4. Factors of 15, 3 times 5, or 1 times 15, or, you know what I mean? Those are all factors. As long as they're factors, that's a factor, and that's a factor of 14 somehow. Therefore, I can divide everything by 7. And look what happens. The 7's cross out. And I have 2 here. So now suddenly I have the absolute value of 2x plus 4, whoops, not parenthesis, is equal to 2. You with me? That's going to be so much easier to solve. You see how fast? Well, real quickly, we got rid of the big numbers. We don't have to divide this by 7 because these two factors are being multiplied times each other, right? So you can remove just one. You're just dividing 7 into one of them, and then 7 into that. So suddenly now I write my two equations: 2x plus 4 is equal to 2, or 2x plus 4 is equal to negative 2.
How'd you get 2?
14 divided by 7 is 2. I'm dividing whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other side of the equal sign.
So then couldn't you, on some problems, couldn't you also just draw a line from 7 to 14 and then see how many times 7 goes into that?
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not quite sure I understood the question. Say it one more time.
So on some problems, couldn't you just draw a line from 7 to 14 and see how many times that number goes into that one rather than dividing by 7 and dividing by 7?
No, this would be the easier way, because this way you know you're doing the same thing to both sides. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do this if this had been a 6. I would have, in my brain, would have said, oh, wait, 6 doesn't go into 14.
So there can be a shortcut if the numbers match.
Yeah, if the numbers have, if this number goes into this number, I do the
How
shortcut.
often do you think those numbers match up?
Almost always.
Really?
Because Gary likes to make things fun, and fun math teachers like things to work, right?
Yeah.
Just the way it works. Okay, so now I just subtract 4 from both sides, right? This is really easy. Whoops. God, this is really easy. So we got 2x is equal to negative 2. So divide by 2, divide by 2. I got x is equal to negative 1. That's what we had before, isn't it? Yeah, that's what we had. And then subtract 4, subtract 4. I've got 2x is equal to negative 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to negative 3. That was so much easier. So my answer are these two things. Those are my answers. Okay?
That is so much easier.
Fist of 5. You get that? Makes sense? Pretty straightforward. Fist of 5, Henry?
No.
Henry? Fist of 5?
I get
Okay.
it, I get it, but
All right. Can I erase? All right. So that was our first example. Here's our second one, okay? Here's the second example. Let's say we had this. We'll say 1 this time. And then
5 trillion.
all right.
Ooh, can I do it really fast? What?
All right, so my question, shh, guys, my question is the absolute value sign and the absolute value thing isolated? Is it isolated? Yes or no? Is it isolated? Yes or no? No. So what people do wrong, I just want to show you, I'm going to show you the wrong way first. This is what, and this is after I teach it. I don't know why people do this. So everybody look up here. Henry, look up here. Don't do what I'm about to do. Do not say, okay, 2x plus 1 plus 3 is equal to 10, or 2x plus 1 plus 3 is equal to negative 10.
They're not.
That is not correct. This is wrong. Wrong.
What if you combine?
Why is this wrong? Wait, yes, but why is this wrong? Shh, why is this wrong? Mara.
Because it's only you only want the ones that were in the absolute value signs, and the 3 isn't in that. And when you take those away, it looks like it was in, so it can be confusing.
Right. In other words, the absolute value is not isolated. That works. What I taught you what I taught you yesterday and the first part of today was that you can do that when the absolute value is isolated, right? Meaning that's all you have on this side of the equal sign, but that 3 messes us up. I can't do it anymore, right? Right? Yes, Lucinda.
I don't know if this is right, but could you just subtract 3 from each
Okay,
side?
wait, Thorn.
Or just couldn't you just like subtract 3 and then subtract 3 to the 10? Or would that
Yeah.
work?
Now, other people will do this. They'll add the 1 and the 3, and they'll
what
say,
I was saying.
don't do that.
Subtract
They're not, this is the absolute value. This is not, right? They cannot be merged yet, right? So what Lucinda just suggested is, let's make this isolated. In other words, get rid of that doggone 3. And how do you move the 3 to the other side? You just subtract, right? All right, so I'm really hoping nobody makes this mistake, okay? Do not just immediately put a plus 10 equals positive 10 and equals minus 10. It's going to be totally different. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides. Now I have 2x, the absolute value of 2x plus 1 is equal to 7.
Yes.
Is the absolute value isolated?
Yes.
Absolutely. So I can now do that little trick. That's the only time I can do this trick, is when that is all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So now I can go 2x plus 1 is equal to 7, or 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 7. So I subtract 1 from both sides. I have 2x is equal to 6. Divide by 2, I have x is equal to 3. Subtract 1, I have 2x is equal to negative 8. Divide by 2, x is equal to negative 4. And so I have the little word in there, and draw my thing, and there we go. Really easy, right? They're really easy. But I don't know why. Some people really struggle with these, and it doesn't make sense to me because it's so simple. This is the key. Absolute value. Absolute value must be isolated first. So if it isn't, make it isolated. So just as a quick review, can I erase?
Sure, bud.
Did you write this stuff down?
Wait.
Right?
Not the rule.
Okay, right. Okay, I won't erase that. So as a just okay, let's say we have this 2x plus 4 equals 10. What's the first thing? Raise your hand. Don't shout it out. What's the first? Once you know what the first thing is you would do, I want you to raise your hand. Once you know what the first thing is that you need to do, raise your hand. I've got 2. Thorn, I want you to look at this one. Thorn, look at this problem. All right. I'm waiting for everybody to raise their hand because I want to be sure you know what to do. You know what to do, Thorn?
Multiply 2 times x. Times
That is a way. That is true. But what's the other way that's a little quicker? You check to see.
Well, you subtract 2, but that one's easier.
Wait. But this is 2 times. What's the opposite of times?
Division.
Right, so you're going to have to divide. All right, so Kayla, what would you do?
You divide the
Divide 10.
Guys, we're still on the video here. You do what?
You divide the 2 by
Then x equals 1.
and then you divide 10 by 2.
All right, so now we have x plus 4 absolute value is equal to 5. Now it's easy. It's either x plus 4 is equal to 5 or x plus 4 is equal to negative 5. Right? So that's 1. Okay, what if I gave you this? Absolute value of x minus 1 plus 5 is equal to 10. Raise your hand when you know what the first step is that you would do on this. All right, Violet, what would you do?
Oh, minus 5.
You would minus 5 because you want that isolated. You'd minus 5. Beautiful. So now you have the absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to 5. And then x minus 1 is equal to positive 5, or x minus 1 is equal to negative 5. Good job. Awesome. All right, I am going to end the lecture.